I raged and blacked out at moments, bro.
Yeah.
I'll
Really?
leave it at that.
Oh man.
But I'm gonna try it again.
How long ago was this?
Soon. Not long enough ago, man.
Yeah, you can still feel it.
I'm still recovering from it, man.
Speaking of blackouts.
Yeah, where we at with it? Okay, this one's gonna be a lot of reading. It might get boring, so maybe we'll cut out some of it. But I want to read it just to like get the full picture. And I'm like, my reading is warmed up now at this point in the pod.
You know how to read.
And he wrote it very well.
Yeah, that's a word.
All right, guys. So we got
It's like 3 paragraphs.
So last podcast, I think episode 22, we talked about the unveiling of the George Floyd statue, and everyone gave their opinions and whatnot. And then the gentleman who actually commissioned the statue of George Floyd actually reached out to us and basically just started up a conversation and kind of responded to a lot of the things that we said and just kind of shared his perspective on things. So I will read it off. He said, he left a comment on our video. He said, "Peace and blessings, my brothers. My name is Leon Pinkney. I commissioned the statue of George Floyd for an extremely critical reason. Out of all the black people in America murdered by the hands of police, or the Tulsa Massacre, or 100 Years of Lynching, title of the book, this is the very first time in America's history that white people publicly stood up and instigated on their own marches and protests for a black woman or man. Never before has it happened. Though many have died unjustly before and after George Floyd, the entire world chose George. His image has become the symbol and rally cry for change and police reform, among others. One of the few names known by the world outside of Jesus Christ is George Floyd. Even children know who George Floyd is. What he did as a human being prior to his death was not the point. The point is that every human being, no matter the color, should be treated with respect and dignity. The statue is not to honor things George has done in his life, pro or con. It is to honor his and your and my humanity, plain and simple. There are statues of rapists, slave owners, murderers of millions of people, and thrives that have stolen countries, or sorry, I think he meant tribes that have stolen countries, or maybe thieves. I think he meant thieves, right? Stolen countries, to name a few. George Floyd's statue is a representation of the ordinary human. Sorry, bro, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Human being. What makes George Floyd worthy? What makes George Floyd worthy? The fact that he has life and breath of God Almighty in him, and the world choose him to be the symbol of change. Also, the world accepted George in what he wore when he died. They didn't need him in a suit. In my day, when what some call a wife beater was and still is called a tank top. What he wore during the time of his death was clothes. Him sitting on a bench could have been something that he still couldn't. Sorry, bro, it's not me, I promise. It's the way it was written. No offense. I'm cutting that out that I said that. I feel bad now. him sitting on a bench could have been something that he still could have been doing now had he lived. Who among us have not done some dumb stuff in our lives that if we could change, we would. Reserve the judgment of George, the Almighty. The statue is supposed to be a tool for reflection, not just a piece of art alone. The original location desired for the statue was Minneapolis, but officials said, though they liked the statue, at the time it was too much tension in the system at the time.
That's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, that does sound like bullshit.
Yeah.
Not on his end, just the fact that they said that too much tension for.
You know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, we wanted the statue unveiled by the anniversary of George Floyd's death. So when Mayor Raz Baraka showed the interest in having the Newark, New Jersey at City Hall, that is where the home became. Keep up the good work. Each of you are very intelligent and had some very interesting views. Let's uplift each other and treat each other as if we're all worthy. There is good chance that Anne Frank had a good education before hiding from the Nazis. Unfortunately, many blacks in America were not allowed the same level of education. But I bet George Floyd was brilliant in his own way. You have to be to survive in America. And I would bet that he was kind and loving to many. It probably outweighed the bad they say he had done. And yes, it is extremely important that we never forget. We must leave the total history of our experience in this world, and more importantly, in America. There are many who would like for us to forget. Don't help them by denying our history and pretending that it never happened. It was and is no dream. It was and is a nightmare. So I'm going to read that again to try to It was and is no dream. It was and is a nightmare. It is real. Never forget. The goal is to bring all races together in respect and love. Peace and blessings, my brothers. My love and respect goes to you. Continue to be brilliant as you are, your brother. So first off, he talked about, in one of the last things he had said was that it's about, what's the part he said? Oh, he was just saying let's uplift each other and treat each other as we're all worthy and all that. I just like when people, like, their actions like back up what they just said. Like what he said in the end just about us like uplifting each other and, you know, saying, oh, you know, just saying like you guys interesting views and then also showing his viewpoint. I like it. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I responded in the, I guess I'll read off my response. Leon, we really appreciate your thought-provoking response. Thank you for taking the time to reach out in such a respectful and very articulate way. We look forward to continuing this conversation and discussing your insights on our next episode. Blessings, brother. Rizzle. Yeah, I just like the way, I like his energy. It's like we talked about the last one. A lot of it is about energy, and I did like that.
Oh, do you think that the statue should still be in a suit?
In a suit?
After reading his response?
After reading his response, I think my stance has stayed the same. I watched back that clip to see how it was coming, and I think also this is an experience of seeing, like, it's nice when someone actually does, you know, respond and say, hey, well, what about that? And it is true, it is what he was wearing. I still stand by my opinion of like, I thought that, you know, I probably, like, Tori's wearing one right now.
I didn't do it on purpose, or like,
that's funny that
it's really just hot, and I didn't feel like.
But if Tori passes, like, I wouldn't want any statue of, you know, God forbid, I wouldn't want any statue of him in that. But that's just my prerogative. But it's nice to hear what his viewpoint was on it. That's what he was wearing. Yeah. People wear it all the time, and sitting on a bench is something he could be doing. It's nice to see that, because I think one of my things was like, I just don't know why they did that, and now it's like, oh, got it. I hear why, and that's why it's like it's. When people are open to dialogue, we can have any conversation. I can sit there and be like, oh, okay, I see the perspective. I still kind of feel just about, I would have liked to see him dressed like that. But if that's your reasoning, and you're a black man, you clearly care about what's going on, your heart is in the right place, your energy is right, in my opinion, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Like that's totally your prerogative. So I respect that. I respect honestly everything he said. You know,
he said a lot, and I just wanted to thank him for that response, because what it really gave me was like perspective, you know, like I think we come in here and like for that topic, it's like you want to pod and kind of, you know, you want to kind of make it a little bit spicy, but you have an opinion, you're going to put a little more passion to it. But like reading his response kind of like humbled me in a way to think from another perspective of just like, okay, for me it might be what it is, and you know, whatever, but for somebody else, like this is a symbol that did flip the perspective of what it meant to be any person of color in this country, right? So now the conversations are being had because of that situation, right? Which I think we talked about, to say like that is a positive that came out of it, you know. And then I say just the way it's been done, like just the way it's been done, but not specifically with the statue. Like I'm not gonna harp on the statue, like, you know, like there's nothing to really argue about or anything, like, but that's why I'm just happy for the perspective. It was like so cool reading that, because it's like we talk about it, you don't really think that like real people are involved with it, but then to have somebody say, oh no, like I worked on it, here's why we did this, and then they're responding to each of the things that we said, like, okay, they're listening
each of the things that you said.
Anne Frank was man.
I loved our conversation from last week, because you did bring the other perspective that like that would be talked about. However, like in my point of view, I was just like, I don't think that we should keep bringing up that part of his past, and it was a good conversation to have. And I do like the aspect that we were like this just like you talked about, symbols, right? So it just symbolized something so much greater, you know, and like the energy that you put behind the statue and like putting it out there. And I do give him respect for at least trying to put it in Minneapolis, because that I love that.
And then to explain it to us, like, here's what happened, like that's.
And that's not him to blame. That's definitely Minneapolis. Like they gave some bullshit.
Where's the statue?
New Jersey.
It's New Jersey. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you weren't here. So one of the pods we had
what was
spoken
the
on.
counter argument?
They put up there was a statue put up in New Jersey of George Floyd, and it was him sitting on a bench with the tank top on.
Right.
And he was
700
pounds.
on
the bench.
Yeah, 700-pound thing. And we were just discussing. Tori was talking about like he didn't feel like statues should be made. The Anne Frank thing he got at was because he was just talking about who are our leaders and who are our like statues, and then my counterpoint was like, oh, well, Jewish people have Anne Frank. Right. But regardless, he responded to everything, bro. I don't have any argument for me, because I mean I thought it was dope that the statue was made. My only thing was what he was wearing, and he addressed that, and it's like, okay, got it, bro. Like that's I like this guy. I wish we got to communicate with him.
Yeah, bring him on the pod. Bring him on the pod.
Reply to this one. But no, honestly, it was.
I gotta go comment on it.
I think the thing that stuck
with me was when he made the point that's, this was really the first time where white Americans and, I mean, people of all races, really, I shouldn't say white Americans, but significantly that really came together, and like you never really saw an outpour of emotions and a movement like we had last year, specifically when it was a pandemic as well. So, I mean, you could have all your reasons not to be involved, don't want to be in crowds and all that. But, I mean, you saw that this reached, more and beyond this virus and scientific theory that we're kind of going through, and this is more on the human aspect of the human life, like being unjust. And
here is my issue, because now it's a fad. Like now it's been emotionalized, like we talk about topics that are emotionalized, right? So then when you hear a story about Sha'Carri Richardson, and then you see how they're writing about white America, or they're putting race into everything that's now projected, it's kind of like it diminishes what the original message was of that, because it's always going to tie back to the precipice, right, in a way. So it's like now that everybody knows about it, it's on the front of everybody's mind, but what is that really?
We can get further down into like what's pandering and what's that, but in terms of what he said, I think there's no doubt of like this did spark white people giving a fuck. Like, bro, you know what I saw when during the protest, and it's like we know there's pandering and there's stuff like that, or things that aren't genuine. Bro, when I was going to a lot of protests at the time. Honestly, I had done my protest like walking shit. I got arrested. Then eventually, once I'm like, I'm going solo. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm more of a honker. Let me be in the car protesting. I think we all have roles we gotta play. So because dude, in them big marches, right? You'd have cars in the back, and dude, cars get it jumping. So
you was like, I'm gonna do that one.
Yeah, exactly. I've been on the ground.
Been through the other
I've been on the ground
side,
seats. I got floor seats and shit.
ACA,
and
air conditioning.
At one point, there was like 100 cars in the mob. So like everyone was just flying through the street. It was crazy. But regardless, I'm driving back home. Emotional time for me at the time. It was just emotional time, right? Yeah. I'm driving down Ventura, and I see this group of 3 white girls with signs and shit by this Wells Fargo right off like Coldwater, just holding up signs saying like end racism, racism is bad, and like, bro, it was hot that day too, and just like you could talk all like pandering and stuff like that, but like certain times, like there's certain instances where like stuff like that, it's like, bro, no one's even seeing you out here. Yeah. Like you literally, I wouldn't even be just sitting out on Ventura just by myself with a sign. Like, I'm trying to go to, but just like stuff. There are certain things where like,
oh, we saw them out here too.
We see hella like random pandering, but like no matter what though, it did spark up a lot of white people really just caring, and non-white people, and just people really being like, damn, like my eyes were closed all this time, and just a lot of good conversation. Like, J-Law, the hooper, was like, he called those guys and be like, hey man, I just want to learn from you guys. Like I hoop, and I love the guys like that where like they've been fucking with black people. Like there wasn't even a question of like, are you this or that? But then they could have played the card of like, nah, see, I'm good, I've been with black. No, he's literally sitting there like, hey guys, like I know this is just like tough time, like we're all here to listen, bro, and like we're and just being real about it. Not everyone has to be like that. Everyone has different personalities, but some stuff, bro, that shit literally made me tear up when I saw these white girls, and they're all going like this too as traffic's going by, like these, and they're young too, not older. And it's just like that comes from, that's pure heart right there, in my opinion, because it's like, bro, you're in the fucking heat for no reason.
No doubt.
Carrying these signs.
There's this one lady that's on like Sepulveda, obviously, LA streets.
Oh, Galleria?
Yeah, next to Galleria, and she's, every time I pass by, it's like I always honk, but like she's like,
you honk at her? You fucking dick, bro.
No,
that's
like,
so
what is this, GTA?
Wow.
But no, I mean, all jokes aside, like she's literally been there, like the same person, the that's same crazy. Lady I always see for like a year now. It's past a year, right? It's
since George Floyd, a little past.
So it's just amazing to see. I mean, just like I was just looking at a couple of weeks ago, the picture of like the guy. And he had his knee on his and Floyd's neck and all that. And such a powerful photo, man. It's like when I look at that photo, I just instantly get a bunch of memories of like that time frame on how like just I don't know. It just
fucked
felt
everyone
like
up.
It just felt like you had like an like a
gave him no choice but to care.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
and then you saw the pussies after the pandemic.
But making it.
A lot of people, bro, like you can't deny a lot of shit when we see that right. It's like during the Native American times. If everyone was acting like Native Americans weren't getting killed and shit, then they just somehow, all these no cameras, somehow everyone on the earth just saw like, wait, that's what Christopher Columbus is doing? It would be like everyone has to give a fuck now when you see something that crucial, man.
But what it like?
There's no way you could watch that video and not flinch. Yeah. It's like if you just watching through that, and just sitting there normal.
Them racists were recreating it.
Jesus.
That's the fucked up part. But every normal person. Yeah.
I feel like there's a human aspect, unless you're fucking sociopath or psychopath. It's like even the racists, they know what this video meant.
But the racists, bro, it's like a religion for them because they really will be. We hang niggers, like we'll kill a nigger. Like I'm talking about that side because there's different cultures of racism, but like the ones that are recreating the
Southern
death
races?
and putting the knees, like, Southern, like bro, those ones, like bro, they really want to hang
like
people, like don't get hung type shit, because there's no, bro, people were getting lynched in front of public crowds and gatherings back in the day, like wild. People are bringing their kids to watch this shit, bro, like that's crazy, like so I don't know, you think of like, human, but I feel like we think of how we are as humans, but it's like some motherfuckers is twisted, bro.
So many different.
You want to know what's crazy is that I'm pretty sure I got his name wrong, but Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah.
Man, like he was basically lynched in the modern day. Like if you look at the video, he's going out for a jog. 2 white guys pull up thinking like, oh, just because a guy of color, this might be. Apparently they thought he was a robber, which is bullshit.
He was looking through a house.
Yeah, or something like that. But it's like you see the video and it's like they literally get out of the truck like and
shooting him,
just shoot him.
Yeah,
and it's like, and that happened like it's funny because I remember that that happened beforehand, and that was like a big outbreak, and then this happened like about a few weeks.
And that shit took forever to come out too.
Yeah,
when that shit did happen, but yeah.
So it's
what happened with that one case with the girl that she was tied to the tree because it was supposed to come out.
I haven't heard anything else about that.
We gotta do some research for the next
Makia
one.
Bryant, we still haven't heard because nothing's gonna be heard back about that one, to be honest, because it happened.
Yeah.
Knife got shot.
But yeah,
anyways, all right, we ended on a sad note, but
hey, wait, could I give the confession?
No, we out of here, man. We go ahead. Now's the time. Now's the time to confess.
Perfect time because this is.
Hey, let me get you queued up though.